Hello there and welcome back. Today is another making video, and I know lots of people are traveling this time of year, so I figured it would be a fun and easy project. Hopefully this will also motivate you to get that project started that you've been putting off. So this is the pattern that I'm going to be working from. I am making bag D, which is this little makeup bag here in the corner. I'll put the measurements down below. I don't really feel like you even need a pattern for this, but here we are. You could probably even try to find this pattern when Joann's does their big pattern sales, and I think these are often just maybe a couple of bucks. So there is the number for you if you want to remember that for future use. But yeah, there's our guy down there. So I did already cut this out. I did also grab a few things just to kind of get an idea of what I think might fit inside. As an example, the serum that I like, I think will fit. It's about 6 inches. You could also use this for brushes, makeup, whatever. So it looks like, other than some thread, obviously a 12-inch zipper is all I'm gonna need to knock this out. I don't usually have a ton of novelty fabrics on hand since I mostly construct garments, but I managed to scrounge up a few things that I thought would be cute. And I'm gonna be using the same fabric for both the inside and the outside. And I guess if you wanted this to be a bit more structured, you could probably use a little interfacing for this to just kind of hold its shape a little bit better. Or you could use maybe like a thin leather material to make this a little fancier. For example, I have some pigskin left over from another project here. That would be really nice. I'd probably just have to use a different needle. And you know, if you wanted to do this really on the cheap, you could probably use an old t-shirt or something like that, and then all you'd have to buy is the zipper. So I think I'm actually gonna go with this Florida themed fabric, and this thread I have over here. It's not a perfect match, but you know, close enough. And I dug into my zipper hoard over here, see what kind of matched or what was close enough. I didn't have anything that was exactly 12. This guy's vintage here. Can you imagine 60 cents for a zipper? I have to remember where I got that guy from. But I think I'm gonna end up going with this green one. I'll move that off to the side. I think that's cute. What do you guys think? Good combo? So with this all picked out, we'll get this stuff out of the way and then let's get to cutting. So you may have seen this in some of my other videos if you watched any of those. But I actually like to use these washes from Home Depot as pattern weights. They are much cheaper and they work great. And also, while I do use chalk, I actually like to use the little bar soaps from hotels and kind of sharpen them. And then I use them to mark out my pattern before I cut. Maybe a little janky, but it works. Who else out there starts following the pattern instructions and then goes, nah, I can figure this out? Is it just me? I think I'm so used to making patterns that my brain kind of wants to make changes. So one thing I'm going to do before I get started is I want to make sure that the fabric is on grain, even if I'm just using a little bit. And this isn't like, this is a little fun project. I'm kind of, well, it's been ingrained in me, ha ha ha, to make sure that all my things are on grain. One thing that you can do is just pull a thread from the edge, and then it'll kind of show you where the grain is, and you can trim it up and then cut from there. Just to make sure that everything sits properly and it doesn't warp or anything like that. Another way you can do it is you can just cut a little bit here and rip it the rest of the way, which is the fastest way to do it. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. Oh, knocked my camera there. Sorry, guys. Alright, so that's actually wasn't too far off. Usually stuff I get from Joann's is terribly off grain, and I'm not just trying to knock Joann's or anything. The stuff is just not, it's not on grain. So wow, that's pretty good. It actually wasn't too bad. So I'm just gonna straighten this up, maybe touch it up with the iron, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut this piece. Yes, I know, I should use a press cloth. And you could always get, these are, I just have the big chunky boys out today, but you could always get much smaller washers that would help hold this down. Still cheaper than pattern weights. The last time I looked at pattern weights, I was like, yikes, this is a lot of doubloons for something that just weighs my pattern down. You guys probably can't see that, but it is a visible white line. Yeah, maybe you might be able to see that. I don't know if you guys can see the shape. I actually can see it. It's a little tricky in some of these parts, but when you get closer, you can actually see it fine. I hope this turns out okay since I haven't tried this pattern before. Not knocking Simplicity, I actually have been to their office in New York and they do take the time to try all their patterns out to make sure that they work. But we all know sometimes patterns just be like,
why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
Alright, I'm just gonna do my little, oops, I'm just gonna get this lined up and I'm gonna do my little notches. I tend to do it this way. I know people like to have them come out. I don't like those. Nothing wrong with them. I'm just used to doing actual notches like in garments, and I kind of prefer to just do that, but to each his own. All right, let's clean up the table and let's get this ironed. You're gonna see right here, this is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And this is where the zipper is actually going to go in here. So I'll show you again once we get it ironed down. All right, let's see. That is about a 1/2 inch. I'll finger press it first so it stays down a little bit. It's a little hard to do this because I actually have a tripod that I keep knocking into to show you guys. But it's a low budget operation here, guys. No cameraman, so hopefully I don't make you guys too dizzy. All right, I'm gonna do the same to all the long edges. All right, so we got this all ready. And you can see we did that under both sides here. Now that this is all done, I'm gonna go ahead and actually pin this together and we're gonna baste. Looks like we're just gonna baste right here. And again, we're doing wrong sides together. All right, so I'm just gonna pin this side and then we're gonna go ahead and head over to the machine. We are at the machine and we're just gonna baste down here. We're gonna start right at this corner. We're gonna baste down here, around here, and all the way down to this. And this is only at 3/8, so we're back to normal seam allowance. And I'm just basting, so I have a, just for reference, regular presser foot in here. This needle is an 11. And I am sewing, this is a 7. I'm not back stitching or anything like that, just because this is just a basting stitch to hold it in place. All right, so this is good enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and baste the other side that I have pinned over here, and then we'll go back to the table and do the next step. All right, so up next, we're gonna bring the zipper out. So it's telling me that we're gonna line this up and that the zipper actually, even though they told me I need a 12 inch, and I probably could have dug out a shorter zipper, that this guy needs to be 1 inch shorter than this. So I'm gonna measure this off and then I'll show you what we do next. Thread, needle, we're gonna go ahead and sew this up. All right, I think that looks pretty good on that side. Okay, so it looks like, let me reread. I think it's telling us to just give that 3/8 and then to just chop this off right here. Let's go ahead and mark it off. So I think we're gonna go ahead and chop the zipper off right here. Let me reread the instructions before we go chop chop. Yeah, that looks right. If I can find my scissors again, I will go ahead and chop it off. Oh, here we go. All right, let's step out of the way. Chop chop, and now our zipper is the correct length. All right, so we're gonna pin this, the zipper in here. This is a good time to figure out what side you like is the inside or the outside. I actually figured this would be the inside. This side feels like it has a little more going on. So you're gonna pin it in and it's gonna be 3/8 away. So we know this is 3/8 from where I stitched to the edge. 3/8 on one side and about, I said 1/2 inch on the other. So yeah, okay, that feels about right. We kind of followed the instructions, huh? So we're gonna go ahead and pin that in place. So make sure that we catch the lining here. All right, it's looking, you can kind of imagine it already, right? This is kind of almost looking like a little bag, right? Really cute. So here we are, we're back at the machine. We've got this pin between the lining. I'll probably adjust this a little bit as I go. It wants you to just baste this and then sew everything together at the end, which to me is kind of an ungodly amount of basting. I feel like I'm just gonna sew this together. It's supposed to be an easy project and I don't wanna sew everything twice. I'm probably being lazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and put my zipper foot on and we're just gonna knock this out. All right, so I got the zipper open, so it's gonna make it a little easier. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I'm literally just gonna put makeup brushes and all kinds of things that make my suitcase heavy when I travel, so I think this is fine. Good enough for government work, huh? So like I said, it told me to baste it, but I can't be reasoned with, so I'm gonna go ahead and backstitch and actually sew this on here. Oh, yeah, you know what would help? If I put the thread back in here. That would probably be pretty helpful, huh? I was like, this is so weird, guys. It's not working at all. Let's try for realsies this time, huh? That ain't going nowhere. I feel like this looks totally fine. So let's go ahead and get the other side sewn up. So we're in on both sides. Like butter, smooth like butter. Let's go do our last little pin and let's wrap this bag up. I think this is what it's telling me to do. We're gonna pin these two longer edges together. Here, so I got that done already. So I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna pin this to this guy first. And then we're gonna go ahead and head on over to the machine. All right, so I think this is what it's telling me to do. Let me put the real foot back in here. We're just at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance again. I think this is it. If it's wrong, I can take it out. No problem. All right, so to get this wrapped up, all I did after sewing this part is I just went ahead and pinched the corners together. So I'll show you on this side. So you're just gonna go ahead and pinch these corners together. You're gonna put that. This little seam allowance is gonna go towards the bottom of the bag. It's our top with the zipper. Gonna just pin it in place. And so see, that's how we're gonna get our little corners of the bag. And make sure your little notches line up. See, my notches lined up that I cut earlier. So let's go ahead and get these little corners sewn. All right, so again, we are at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. A little extra back stitching, so when I inevitably overload this with crap, it does not come apart. Okay, that's a good looking corner. I have 3 more to do, and then we will meet back up at the table to turn this right side out and press it. Poke these. I have a little thing that pokes the edges, but you can also just use chopsticks or something, some kind of blunt edge to get your corners poked out. Go ahead and zip this. This is a cute little bag. All right, so not too bad. This is the finished product. So what would I do a little bit differently? I think this is super cute. One thing I think is a mistake I made from jump is I picked a fabric that was directional, and you can see this side looks really cute. You've got the little golf cart, and then when I flip it over, the little archways and stuff are upside down. So, you know, that's on me, but again, this isn't, you know, critical that this is perfect. I think it's cute and I'm gonna like it either way. So something else that I would change is inside where it has us, let me flip this wrong side out. So it doesn't give, and maybe I'll reread the notes and editing Lauren will fix this later. It doesn't give me any instruction to serge this or anything like that. If you don't have a serger, I would serge this. I had my serger set up. I just was kind of trying to follow the directions, but I would serge this, and I would maybe have serged this. If you don't have a serger, you can just use a zigzag stitch on your machine. I think that this is gonna get a little raggedy as I use it. So, I mean, again, this isn't life or death, but I think that's a way that I would maybe improve it for next time. I think that this is fine how it is, how it's soft, and I think this is really cute, but I think that maybe I could have used an interfacing or a heavier fabric, and I think it would have given this, like I said at the beginning, like a little more structure. And I think personally, I think I would have liked to have a little more structure in the bag. I think that would have been great. But otherwise, I think this is pretty good. Let me see if the stuff that I brought out earlier in the video actually fits in here. So again, this is some face serum that I like. It's about 6 inches. So that fits really, look, perfectly. Let me open this some more. That fits perfectly in the bag. This is like a pretty kind of standard size brush. It's maybe like a medium. I don't use a ton of brushes. I have like 2. Little blush, little lipstick in here. So you could probably fill this up pretty good. And like I said, see, it's fine, but it doesn't really hold the structure too much, which means you could really stuff the crap out of it. But otherwise, I think that this was kind of a win. So let me pull this back out. So this will go back to, this is the bag that we made. So, I mean, I think it looks pretty close to the picture. we use D, and it probably couldn't be smaller. So if you guys see what D looked like, and you see the finished result here. So I think this came out pretty cute. So anyway, guys, this was my productive procrastination today. I have actually been working on some samples for my new collection, and I had a lot of sewing to do, and I just felt like I needed a little motivation. So I actually was like, you know what? This is just kind of like a fun project to do, and it will get me in front of the sewing machine, and it'll get the creative juices flowing and get me back to work. So hopefully, if you were in my boat and you just needed a little push or a little motivation or a little inspiration or encouragement, I hope that this really gives you the thumbs up to go ahead and get in front of your machine. So that's going to do it for me today. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you working on right now? I would love to hear, or even if you yourself have some productive procrastination, I would love to hear what you're working on. Otherwise, I have more projects coming. I'm going to be back in the parks in the next couple of days. I really wanted to go do Festival of the Holidays. I have a bunch of fun stuff. I've ordered some goodies that I think you guys will be interested in seeing me unbox, but I will see you guys in the next one. Go forth, be kind, be creative.